do you like the Kyle Tucker trade for the Astros? 53% said yes.
I know two guys that weren't involved in that poll, you and I.
Yeah, I did.
Right?
I mean, I guess you can like what came back, but you lost superstar talent, arguably their best player. Well, here's the trade once again. And Isaac Paredes, who's had some good seasons, comes back on the other side, and he can play third, he can play first. Hayden Wesneski, and then Cam Smith, top prospect, comes over as well. So I guess you could justify it, but it seems like as we bring in Brian McTaggart, Kyle Tucker going to the Cubs, I didn't expect that, Brian. I mean, he's again, arguably their best player, not their best hitter. That's Yordan Alvarez, but this is a whale of a player. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah, I was shocked by those results. I thought it would be 3-1 against the trade, just because Astros fans do not want this ride they've been on to end. Not that it's going to end, but they didn't want this core to be broken up. And now, like you said, their best player is gone, and Kyle Tucker. They might lose Bregman, who's been a huge part of this core. It seems like a shift in direction, but I think the Astros just got to the point to where they weren't going to sign Tucker. We all know that, and they really had no replacement for Tucker in the minor leagues like they did for Springer and Correa. So they had to get something for Tucker, and they addressed a couple of their needs, starting pitching, corner, infield. But they can't be done here. They have to go and make other moves, and they can still be really competitive. But losing Cal Tucker in the prime of his career, that's going to be tough to take. But it looks like a lot of Astros fans can see the other side of it and what they were trying to do here.
Okay, you're kind of answering the question. So give me your view of their master plan. Since we're talking about Bregman is still out there, he was one of their foundation players to their championship team, championship level team. What's the master plan, do you think, for Houston?
Yeah, I think getting Paredes allows them to put him at third base if Bregman does not sign pitchers back this year healthy. But they cannot lose Kyle Tucker and Alex Bregman and not add another impact bat, whether that's signing Santander, trading for Arenado, moving Paredes to first, signing Christian Walker. There has to be another move, and I think they're working on that. I mean, this just cannot be their offseason, because that would be a big step back if they lose those guys and replace them with Paredes.
All right, let's back up then. How are the negotiations going between the Astros and Bregman?
Well, the Astros made an offer pretty early of 6 years at about 156, which clearly I think is a pretty, not the offensive player he was in 17 and 18 and 19 and probably never will be again. But he's a guy who could play every day, Gold Glove, be a leader in a clubhouse. A team like the Red Sox could use somebody like Alex Bregman. But as far as the Astros go, I think there's a gulf there. I don't think they'll be able to sign him unless Astros ownership goes against what they've done in years past, which they don't want to give out these 7-8 year deals. They don't want to give 250 million, because they will tell you, if you look at most of these deals, they don't work out in the long run. And It's worked out well for the Astros. They let Springer walk, they let Cole walk, they let Correa walk, and they just keep continuing to win. So they have a business model and how they want to do this. And if they're going to stick with that, which I think they will, Bregman's not going to fit into that.
And Brian, let me just show exactly what you're talking about here, that this isn't just cold-blooded by the Astros. If this was 2018 and 2019, and you have a 384 on base, slugging 527, and in the 2 years, like you're like a 9 or 10 win player. It's vast. Excuse me, that's 2016 to 2019, so that's 4 years. That's vastly different, because he was I think a 7 and an 8 win player in 2 of those seasons. Then you look at the last 3, where he's a 122 OPS plus. Look, that's good, but that's not great. So he did all that with power and contact. He was one of the best players in baseball, but there has been a slide. I'm not saying he's washed up or anything like that. He's still very good, but there's a difference between the superstar Alex Bregman and this one the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, no doubt. He chased more. He walked a little bit less. I mean, he was a guy with more walks than strikeouts typically. That was, flipped this year. The power is not what it was before. I mean, in 2019, he almost won the AL MVP. I mean, he was a hair behind Mike Trout, and Trout got injured, I think, the last few weeks, and Bregman closed that gap. He almost won the MVP. But he's still a really, really good player who's come up so big in the playoffs so many times, a proven winner, a Gold Glove defender, a great character guy in the clubhouse if the teams are looking for that. So he's demanding a lot of money for a reason, because he brings a lot of values to clubs on and off the field. But that being said, Astros losing him and Kyle Tucker. Maybe it's a soft rebuild. I mean, as long as Jim Crane owns the team, I don't think they're ever going to rebuild in the definition. But certainly it's a crossroads that we haven't seen from the Astros now since they turned it around about a decade ago.
Yeah, I'm glad you were praising him there a little bit. I didn't mean to bash him. He's a 4-win player still. He's still a very good player. Quickly, Nolan Arenado in this mix at all? Interest?
Yeah, they've talked about him. I mean, I think he would be a good fit. Offensively, a guy. Plus, the other day, he's willing to play first base or wherever the Astros want him to play. So, I think that would be a good addition for the Astros if they can get him and probably ease the fans' pains here of losing two of their cornerstone players. If they can add somebody like Arenado or maybe somebody else in the outfield, because I think they need to add in the outfield as well.
Yeah, we had the numbers up there. Like 2 years ago, Arenado is also a superstar player. Hasn't been for the last two, so they'd be buying low on him, and he's an expensive guy as well. It's never easy.
Who can replace Teoscar Hernández on the Dodgers? What's up, Dodger Nation? Today, we've got a hot update straight from the trade market. We know this offseason is filled with excitement, especially after the Dodgers' incredible World Series victory. But now the big question is, who will be the next big name to wear Dodger blue and strengthen the outfield? Before diving into this discussion, we want to hear from you. Should the Dodgers make a big push to keep Teoscar Hernández or go for a more budget-friendly alternative like Anthony Santander? Drop your opinion in the comments, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on everything Dodgers. Now, let's get into it. After weeks of negotiations with Teoscar Hernández, it seems like re-signing the All-Star has become more complicated. Big market teams like the Boston Red Sox and Toronto Blue Jays have entered the race, making it harder for the Dodgers to retain him. As a result, the team has started exploring other options in the market. So, who's on the radar? Anthony Santander, the Baltimore Orioles star and two-time All-Star, has drawn significant attention. According to MLB.com insider Mark Feinsand, the Dodgers are a team to watch in the race for Santander. He had an incredible 2024 season, hitting 44 home runs, driving in 102 RBIs, and scoring 91 runs, career-best numbers across the board. The most intriguing part? The cost benefit. Santander is reportedly seeking a 5-year deal worth around $100 million, which is more affordable annually than Hernandez's rumored ask of 3 years, $72 million. Plus, Santander is 2 years younger, a factor that could weigh heavily in the Dodgers' front office decisions. Whether it's Hernández or Santander, one thing is clear: the Dodgers are making moves to keep their outfield competitive and remain strong contenders for the 2025 championship. Now, the question is, who would you like to see on the team? Santander, with his long-term potential, or Hernández, who has already proven his worth in Dodger blue? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with fellow fans. Let's keep following every move in this exciting offseason together. Go Dodgers!